Hey everybody, this is Family Time 236. We're looking at responsible decision making. Specifically, I want us focusing on trying to find the root of a problem. This can be a really difficult thing to do because most of the time in life, we're treating the symptoms instead of the root cause of our problems. That makes sense. The symptoms are the things we can see. But I think of it like the Hydra in Greek mythology, if you're familiar with the Hydra. And the Hydra was this monster that if you cut off its head, then two grew back in its place. So Hercules fought the Hydra, and he continued to cut off one head, cut off another head, and more and more and more come. We have more and more problems. Our problems work that way a lot. Is we're treating this surface level thing, we're just trying to attack the next thing that's coming at us. But if we don't get to the deeper issue, we just wind up creating more problems. So what happens in the legend of Hercules to kill the Hydra is he has to, in the kind of older versions of the tale, he cuts that off and then he has to like cauterize them, like take care of this symptom and then make sure it's not coming back until he can eventually get to the heart of the thing and kill the root cause. And we have to do that in our lives. We have to look at, okay, what's really causing the thing here? And I want you to think in terms of human needs. We talked about human needs a few weeks ago. We talked about Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. That's like a pyramid. And it talks about you have to meet the foundational needs before you can build up. So the physiological needs are the needs that are at the bottom. Things that keep us alive: food, water, shelter. Then you can move up to safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and then self-actualization is the top of the pyramid. We also talked about Tony Robbins, who's a motivational speaker. He's got a system. He talks about human needs. And he talks about the balance of these human needs, everybody's need for certainty and uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. So these are a couple systems we're familiar with. I want you to try to think of addressing your problems in this framework, because we all are trying to meet these human needs. And if we can recognize that, we can recognize our similarities. We invent so many things to separate each other out, but in the most fundamental ways, we're really very similar. Everybody's trying to meet these needs. That was a big realization for me, like when I was younger and I was uneasy about things, anxious about maybe interacting with different people, and realize like, everybody's trying to do this. Everybody's trying to meet these needs. Everybody's got their own hopes and fears and dreams, and everybody's got their own issues that they're dealing with. And if you can realize that, you can find a commonality between everybody, and you can also find paths that other people have walked to get through similar issues that you might be having. So I want you to think in terms of those needs, and I want you to recognize that everybody's trying to meet those needs. And if we can't meet those needs in a healthy way, we will find ways to meet those needs in an unhealthy way. That's just the way it is. We use the example of like somebody joining, what we might be considered like a gang, like a street gang, right? Something like that, where there might be criminal activities involved, or unhealthy activities involved with that sort of association. But why would people join a group like that? Well, it meets a lot of needs. It can meet physiological needs by providing money, which allows food, things like that. It provides a sense of security, connection with other people. People are going to back you up. It creates a sense of belonging, of connection, and that can lead to things like having a sense of esteem, that you're contributing to a group, even if that group may not always be doing the healthiest things. You're checking those boxes, those human need boxes. So I want you to understand that when interacting with other people and with thinking about your own problems, you have to recognize that, like, I'm trying to meet these needs, and there's sometimes, we just have to be honest, sometimes I may not meet these needs in the healthiest way possible. But accepting that, radically accepting that, like, okay, but if I can identify that, I can change the way I meet that need. And interacting with other people, I find if I can and try to see things from their perspective, try to see things from other people's perspective, and be like, okay, maybe this person's doing this thing that I don't enjoy. Maybe this person has like a habit that annoys me or something. Or I'm, as like a teacher and a coach, I'm looking at a student with a behavior that I think, man, this is actually not helping you out. Like, this certain behavior is counterproductive. But if I can take a couple steps back and be like, I think you're maybe trying to meet this need and haven't developed the skills yet to meet it in a healthy way. So we're meeting it in an unhealthy way. And there's a book we're working through, teachers right now. And one of the things they talk about is like, kids will do well when they can do well. It's not so much about when they want to do well, it's when they can do well. And that's about like having the skills. And I think we all fall into that somewhere where it's like, I'm trying to meet these needs. I'm going to find a way to meet them. The trick is to find healthy ways to meet them and recognize when I'm having issues, when I'm having problems, what is really causing that. Now, there may be some external problems that we can try to eliminate, but I want you to try to think about, like, for yourself. If it's something like you struggle to get homework done, you struggle with procrastination, you struggle with organization, like, okay, let's try to focus on things we can control, because we can't always control those outside things. We can maybe influence them. And there's certain things that in our lives we may have to cut out, addition by subtraction. Sometimes you eliminate a negative influence. But for right now, I want you to try to put the locus of your attention on yourself. All right, until next time, much love.